favorite, but you never know until you get out there and get qualified and put yourself in position to win.
Last July, the guy who won the second night was Craig Delansky. He's with our Brad Doty.
Thanks, Art. You know, Craig, every time we come here, we talk about how tough it is to win because of the Pennsylvania Posse. But Williams Grove is such a unique racetrack in its shape. What do you have to do? What makes it so tough to win here? Is it the setup, horsepower, just exactly what is it?
Well, definitely it's a challenging racetrack, one of the most challenging tracks that we hit throughout the tour, and as well as the competition. I mean, it's some of the stiffest local competition that we run up against. But, you know, you definitely got to have a good working race car here and a good running motor and have some luck on your side to get in victory lane.
Well, you've definitely had some luck on your side. These guys have been extremely fast. Down pit road is Johnny Gibson, who's with the first-time winner here ever. Terry McCarl won one of the preliminaries last time we were here.
Terry McCarl won the first preliminary race the last time the World of Outlaws visited Williams Grove. For T-Mac, it was his first Grove victory. And Terry, another preliminary feature tonight. What's it take to get back to victory lane with 63 cars in the pits?
Well, it's a tough place all the way around. It's tough competitors, tough racetrack, and you know, tough conditions too sometimes here. So we're going to go out there and give it the best shot we can. And you know, like I said, you got to be really fast at this place, and you got to have a great engine. This is a horsepower deal.
It's the World of Outlaws versus the Pennsylvania Posse. Action on the track when we return. The World of Outlaws on the Outdoor Channel is being brought to you by Optima Batteries, B&W Custom Truck Beds, Advance Auto Parts, Eckert Pharmacies, and by PartyPoker.com. Welcome back to Williams Grove in the World of Outlaws, where the qualifying has just ended. The Posse fills out the front row in heat number 1 with Nicky Young on the pole. Next to Nicky is Greg Hotnet. Then a mean 15 second row with McCarl and Henderson. Chad Kemenaugh, the top rookie contender, along with top qualifier Kenny Jacobs in row 3. Monteith and Leppo in row 4. Fast Freddie Raymer, a Williams Grove legend, is along with Scott Bunnell in row 5. Siegel and Campbell rounding out the field. Let's go for the race call and Johnny.
Thanks, Art. We are ready to go with heat race number 1. 8 laps in distance, top 5 finishers moving into the main event. Green flag waving. Greg Hodnett from the outside of the front row jumps onto the lead with Nicky Young on the inside of the Speedway. Kenny Jacobs, fast qualifier, making a move around the outside of rookie leader Chad Kemenaugh. Now chasing down Justin Henderson, battling for the 4th position.
Kenny Jacobs and I talked earlier, and he knew that qualifying didn't mean much. He was going to have to make something happen that first lap. The racetrack is extremely fast. Had a lot of rain here yesterday. It's really sticky, really heavy. It was good in qualifying. 63 cars getting around here in qualifying.
Jacobs makes a move to the outside of Justin Henderson to take over 4th. Now Henderson in the final transfer spot. Here comes Fred Raymer. The Williams Grove points leader started 9th and now up to challenge Henderson for 5th.
Well, obviously every time we come out here, Fred Raymer is one of the guys to beat. Didn't qualify very well, but as you said, coming from 9th, charging his way up into a transfer spot.
Fred Raymer with Justin Henderson in tow. Battle is for the transfer spot. Raymer down low. Henderson works the cushion into turn number 2. Meanwhile, out in front, Greg Hodnett in the work at number 77, a good size advantage.
Well, another PA Posse member, Hodnett out there knows his way around, had some injuries early. Look at this.
Henderson to the outside of Raymer trying to battle back against the Williams Grove point leader, and they'll go wheel to wheel into 3 and 4.
Part of that wiggle down that long back straight, but Henderson not, look at that, boy, just trying to squeeze through between Raymer and the outside wall.
Into turn number 1, Fred Raymer slides up the racetrack to block Henderson's progress on the cushion. Now pulls away by a couple of car lengths down the long back straightaway.
Well, Henderson might not have liked that, but that's part of sprint car racing. Raymer had the line, getting into the corner, drove it in a little deeper, and slid up and took the line.
Fred Raymer now solidly into the transfer spot. Meanwhile, we watch leader Greg Hodnett make his way down the back straightaway. Hodnett, who missed a lot of the season with a couple of different injuries suffered in racing accidents, now back looking strong here at the front in heat race number 1.
Well, he does look strong, and here at Williams Grove, these long straightaways out there, keeping the air over that nose wing, keeping the front end down, the car looking well. To hear Henderson on the outside again.
Henderson not giving up on that transfer spot. He sees Fred Raymer right in front of him, knows there's less than 2 laps to go now, has to try to come and take it away.
Well, it's so important to transfer, especially here, because this B main, all the good cars out here, it's very tough to come out of any of the last chance races, and he knows he's got to try to make it happen here.
White flag flying, final lap around the Speedway. Henderson all over Raymer, both of them reeling in Kenny Jacobs just a little bit into the final turn. Greg Hodnett will get the win, and for the transfer spot out of turn number 4, Fred Raymer hangs on.
Thanks, Johnny and Brad. On the Optima Batteries results page, it's Greg Hodnett taking the checkered flag with Young, McCarl, Jacobs, and Raymer on their way as well to the A main event. 3 mean 15 rookies have to go to the last chance qualifiers. Henderson, Kemenaugh, and Campbell, along with the rest of the field.
seems like the bottom's a little quicker around just because it's so much shorter distance, and there's little crumbs laying around the top right now.
The cars are already on the track for heat number 2 with Becca Henderson on the pole. Lucas Wolf also in that front row. Carver and Smith in row 2. Schaefer and Darren Pittman of Titan Garages in row 3. Todd Hester and Bob Felmley in row 4. And the Outlaws points leader Donnie Schatz is in row 5 along with Jonathan Allard. Randy Hannigan and Steve Clabaugh fill out the field.
Heat race number 2, ready to go green. Becca Anderson on the pole. Lucas Wolf to the outside of the front row. Drag race down the front straightaway. Lucas Wolf will take the early lead into 1 and 2. Donnie Schatz, oh, trouble car sideways in front of Schatz. It's Todd Schaefer. Schatz is upside down. Schaefer tips over as well.
As we get another look at it, look, Todd Schaefer in the 88 turns the car around. Schatz looks okay there. Looked like he was going to spin the car. He got tagged, got turned around, it tripped over the left rear, upside down. Car doesn't look really bad at this point. Top wing, maybe nose wing.
Restart for heat race number 2. Ricky Warner and crew have gotten Donnie Schatz back out. He'll come from the rear of the field in this one. Once again, it is Lucas Wolf taking the lead down the front straightaway. Schatz already by 3 cars into turn number 1.
Crew Chief Ricky Warner from right here in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Todd Schaefer and his crew also, they got that car back out and restarted at the tail.
Donnie Schatz trying to work his way forward and get back into a transfer position. Meanwhile, Darren Pittman makes the move around Mark Smith on the inside out of turn number 4. Pittman moving into the 4th spot. Smith on the bubble in the transfer position. Lucas Wolf, the youngest driver ever to win a feature here at Williams Grove Speedway, out in front of this one. Battle for the 2nd spot now. Michael Carver around the outside. Becca Anderson down low.
Carver right up on the cushion. Becca trying to run the bottom of the racetrack. Lucas Wolf back in this car with his dad, crew chief Randy Wolf, working on this car. Fast right now up front. Schatz still not giving up, still fighting for positions back here.
Donnie Schatz moving in on Mark Smith. Meanwhile, Darren Pittman catching up with Michael Carver and Becca Anderson. Nearly 3 wide there out of turn number 4.
See a little bit of smoke out of the 69 of Carver. I think that's, again, just out of the breather, no harm.
Racing for the 2nd spot. Carver on the high side. Becca Anderson down low, down the back straight. Oh, contact at the end of the back straightaway. Becca Anderson got into Michael Carver. Carver, I think, caught a piece of the wall with the right rear as well.
You could see looked like the whitewash flying off the wall, as I do believe he made contact with the right rear, and his left front definitely made contact with Becca Anderson's right rear tire.
Becca Anderson still in 2nd. Now Darren Pittman trying to take advantage to move to the inside of Michael Carver in a battle for 3rd.
Well, you can see what it did. It slowed his momentum, and yes, Pittman gets by out of turn 4.
Nice slide job out of turn number 4 by the Williams Grove Summer Nationals winner, Darren Pittman. Now Donnie Schatz moving in on Mark Smith, racing for the transfer spot out of turn number 2. Give it to the World of Outlaws point leader.
Boy, you got to really hand it to Ricky Warner and that crew again, getting that car back out on the racetrack. Now he is in the transfer spot.
Lucas Wolf out in front of this one comfortably. Donnie Schatz now not settling for the final transfer spot, going after Michael Carver is Darren Pittman all over Becca Anderson. Caution on the speedway. Bob Felmley slowing to a stop on the backstretch. Restart time now. Lucas Wolf leading it over Becca Anderson, then Darren Pittman, Michael Carver, and Donnie Schatz in the transfer position. See a very brief glimpse of the 88 of Todd Schaefer. He was involved in that first lap accident as well, and he has climbed back into the 7th position.
He is fighting his way back up through there. Another caution or two would definitely help him, because here at Williams Grove, they get so strung out. The speed's so incredible, and you can see him back there now. Schatz going to the bottom of the racetrack.
Lucas Wolf, meanwhile, working his final trip around this half-mile speedway, still watching the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Becca Anderson on the low side, Carver up high, Donnie Schatz trying to reel them in as well. Lucas Wolf will get the win, and Schatz from the rear of the field to grab a transfer spot.
Oh, what a wild heat number 2. Lucas Wolf holding on for the victory. Darren Pittman in 2nd, Anderson, Carver, and Donnie Schatz barely getting into that final transfer spot.
Dusting off pretty good here. It was chilly and the sun went down early tonight, so it stayed pretty tacky for a lot longer than usual. So
2 more qualifying heats to go from Williams Grove Speedway. We'll be right back.
In 2 days, the good.
They have a hostage, my wife.
The bad.
Will somebody shoot this guy?
Speedway, the preliminary feature round of the National Open. We're getting ready for heat number 3 right now with Brian Carlson on the pole and Paul McMahon of Bass Pro Shops next to him. It's Grimes and Joey Saldana in row 2. Shepard and Esch in row 3. Craig Delansky and Lance DeWeese in row 4 with Stevie Smith and Ed Lynch Jr. in row 5. Pruitt and Buckwalter rounding out the field. Here's Johnny.
Third heat race, Brian Carlson on the inside, Paul McMahon on the outside of the front row, green flag flying. Good start for Lance DeWeese in the Hop Compaction 25, lined up 8th, knows he needs to get into the top 5 and transfer to the main event. He's trying to keep up with Britt Raymer in the battle for the Williams Grove Points Championship.
Well, again, that first corner, the first lap, you got to try to make something happen before they get strung out. He did get a good start.
DeWeese now gets by Brian Carlson, moves up into the 5th and final transfer spot. Paul McMahon leading it in the Bass Pro Shops number 20.
Well, we've seen it the last few heat races. The guy out front by himself, especially here at Williams Grove, long straightaways in that clean air, can usually pull away from the field. Now DeWeese to the inside of Carlson.
Lance DeWeese, Brian Carlson going at it. Meanwhile, the Caravan Trailers number 7 of Craig Delansky started 7th, not in a transfer spot yet, now battling for position with the 87 of Alan Crimes. We saw a brief glimpse of the car slowing on the backstretch. It was Brian Carlson off the pace. Looks like he's going to make it back into the pit area, and we will stay green. Carlson started on the pole of this one, but misfortune early on in this heat race. Out in front by a half a straightaway, Paul McMahon, who won a preliminary feature here in World of Outlaws competition last year. Now the race for the second spot, the Hammer, Doug Esch, leading feature winner this season at Williams Grove Speedway, trying to take it away from Joey Saldana in the Casey Kane Racing number 9.
Boy, he made it look easy as he went into turn 1, slid right up in front of him. Look at that, pulling away from the 9 car already.
Now DeWeese around Jeff Shepard to move up into the 4th spot. Shepard on the bubble. Jeff Shepard filling in for Brooke Tatnell this weekend in the Race Outfitters number 8. We've got caution on the Speedway. Paul McMahon slowing. Steve Buckwalter has come to a stop on the backstretch. Restart of heat race number 3. Paul McMahon leading it over Doug Esch in 2nd. Joey Saldana 3rd. Lance DeWeese in 4th. And Jeff Shepard in the 5th and final transfer spot as we go back to green. Shepard on the outside of the Speedway. Lance DeWeese down low. DeWeese gets a good run off the bottom of the corner. Craig Delansky still right there in the transfer spot fight as well.
Yeah, the best thing that happened for Delansky is those guys getting to racing each other, maybe banging the wheels a little bit and open the door for Delansky. But right now, he is on the outside looking in.
Paul McMahon still showing the way. There's Jeff Shepard working the low side of the Speedway in the Race Outfitters number 8. He's pulled away from Craig Delansky by about 5 car lengths.
It looks like he's getting comfortable in that car. I talked to him earlier after hot laps. He was talking about the steering being a little slower ratio than what he's used to. He felt like he had to really drive the car a little more, but he said, oh, that's okay, I'll get used to it. And it looks like he's pretty comfortable right now.
Paul McMahon very comfortable in the Bass Pro Shops number 20, leading this one down the back straightaway as the laps wind down here in heat race number 3. Watching Craig Delansky try to catch up with Jeff Shepard in the race for the transfer spot. Shepard slides through the cushion, Delansky right behind him. Craig Delansky, the crowd pleaser, going after the jet Jeff Shepard. Shepard, Rookie of the Year here at Williams Grove Speedway back when he was just 16 years of age. Now trying to hold off Delansky on the final lap down the back straightaway. Delansky dives to the inside one more time. McMahon will get the win, and the final transfer spot will go to Jeff Shepard.
Thanks, guys. On the Optima Batteries results page, McMahon taking the checkered flag with Esch, Saldana, DeWeese, and Shepard on their way to the A-main. The big surprise in heat number 3, Craig Delansky has to go to a last chance qualifier.
You know, we qualified good. I mean, there's a tough crowd here tonight, so, I mean, any race you go with the Outlaws is tough, but coming in here at PA is really tough. So, you know, I was happy to make the inversion, and, you know, because a lot of guys didn't. And, you know, we got out front, stayed out front. Hopefully we can get up there in the main event.
Cars are already on the track for heat number 4. Dion Hindi on the pole with Craig Keel on the outside of that front row. Danny Lasowski in row 2 along with Jason Sowald. Tony Bruce Jr. and Keith Kaufman in row 3. Jack Hottenshield and Justin Weigert in row 4. Then it's Collette, Erdley, Cole, and Weibly.
4th and final heat race of the night. Dion Hindi about to get on the throttle with Craig Keel outside the front row. Oh, a couple of cars getting together right in front of Jack Hottenshield. Hottenshield sideways collects Justin Collette. They'll come to a stop in turn number 4, and the caution flag will wave. Restart of heat race number 4. Jack Hottenshield and Justin Collette, both with repairs made, both back out on the Speedway, down the front straightaway toward the green flag. Oh, contact on the front stretch. Hottenshield got into the 93 machine of Brooke Weibly, and now Weibly sits sideways on the front stretch. Flattened right rear tire on that car. Hoping the 3rd time is the charm for the restart of heat race number 4. Dion Hindi out of the corner with Craig Keel and Jason Sowald in tow. They race toward turn number 1.
Well, again, Hindi on the bottom. The guy out front by himself can usually pull away. Got a battle here now. Lasowski and Keith Kaufman.
Keith Kaufman, a 50-time feature winner here at the Williams Grove Speedway, already a member of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Right now occupies that 5th and final transfer spot. Tony Bruce Jr. behind him by about 6 car lengths into turn number 1. Tony Bruce making his Williams Grove debut tonight at time 5th fastest out of the 63 cars in the pit area.
And what a contrast, just talking about Keith Kaufman, 50 wins here, but many thousands of laps around here, and Tony Bruce his first time here.
Tony Bruce doing well on the low side of the speedway, actually reeling in the Middlesworth Potato Chips car. Trouble in turn number 4. It's Hodenshield once again. He's gotten into the wall, and there's damage on the front end of that car.
And you have to imagine part of this is from those earlier crashes. Something looks like something broke on that race car as he got in the wall in turn 4.
Restart of heat race number 4 with Dion Hindy leading it. Craig Keel running in second. Jason Solwald in third. Then Danny Lasonsky fourth and Keith Kaufman in the final transfer position. Keel takes a quick look to the high side of the speedway. Tony Bruce back down on the bottom trying to wrest that transfer spot from Kaufman.
And I thought maybe that caution was the break that Tony Bruce needed, but Kaufman able to hold him off as they go through 1 and 2.
Craig Keel gaining ground on the RealTruck.com 11D of Dion Hindy. Hindy, who was a fast qualifier here earlier this year in World of Outlaws competition, able to hang on to the lead. And again, Tony Bruce goes after Keith Kaufman.
Boy, look at the run, though. Kaufman had the momentum on the outside, has a strong motor in that car as he gets down the back straight, but Bruce not giving up as he dives to the bottom.
Craig Keel not giving up on the lead. Keel, who has been a regular here at the Williams Grove Speedway in 2006, still running in the second spot. We're halfway home, 4 down and 4 to go here in heat race number 4.
Saw a little bit of a bobble there as Kaufman getting, it looked like the car got on the right front, which means it took a little bit of a push, but still Bruce not able to capitalize on it.
Tony Bruce and Keith Kaufman racing for a transfer spot. Dion Hindy leading Craig Keel by 6 car lengths into 1 and 2. Kaufman on the cushion again. Again, Tony Bruce has the bottom side of the racetrack wire.
But look at Hindy, boy, really anywhere he wants to go. Top, bottom, middle, kind of running the middle, getting into turn 1 as Bruce here back in the bottom, but back to Hindy here. Let's see where he, again, kind of in the middle.
Oh, a lot of smoke from Danny Lasosky's Roth Motorsports 83. That car off the pace, and now we see some flames on it as well.
Well, that smoke turned to flames. That's oil burning on the outside on the headers. I don't believe that's in the cockpit. Looks like the flames already starting to die out there a little bit, and Danny Lasosky done for this heat race.
Single file restart out of turn number 4. Dion Hindy leads them down. You can see the oil dry laid down on the front straightaway from the liquid laid down when Danny Lasosky lost the engine.
Well, these cars hold 8 to 10 quarts of oil. It looks like every bit of it was on the front straightaway.
The man who has made the big move here and taken advantage of a couple of caution flags, it's Alan Cole in the Hatters Auto Body car number 35A. Cole started in the 11th spot, and he is now up in a transfer position. We've got caution on the racetrack once again. This time it is Tony Bruce coming to a stop on the inside of turn number 2.
You got to wonder, these cars had a lot of cautions, a lot of delays. You have to wonder if he might be out of fuel.
Tony Bruce Jr. did run out of fuel, as did Craig Keel, who was running in the 2nd spot. We've had a fuel stop. Both of those drivers have come back and rejoined the field at the tail. We go back to green. Jason Solwald looks to the outside of Dion Hindy. Meanwhile, Justin Collette involved in the earlier accident with Jack Hodenshield trying to track down Alan Cole for the final transfer position. Hindy down low, Solwald right behind him. They come out of turn number 4.
Dion starting to get a little breathing room now after the restart. See the white flag there.
1 more lap to go. Alan Cole from 11th into the final transfer spot. Justin Collette trying to track him down, works the cushion, but a little bobble there. Dion Hindy clear down the backstretch into 3 and 4. It'll be Dion Hindy grabbing the checkered flag here in this final heat race. And what a job by Alan Cole to come from 11th and grab the final transfer spot.
Thanks, Johnny. Dion Hindy taking the checkered flag. Solwald, Kaufman, Erdley, and Cole on their way to the A main. 4 big names now going to the last chance qualifiers. Danny Lasosky and Jack Hodenshield leading the field out of heat 4.
Fortunate enough to run in the 4th heat, so I kind of saw a little bit of the direction it's going in. I think it's going to start slicking up now that we've run on it enough.
Coming up next, the dash to determine the running order for the first 5 rows of tonight's preliminary feature A main. We'll be right back. High school, but he's trying for a pole position tonight. Michael Carber starting on the inside front row of this dash. Jason Solwald also on the front row. It's Saldana and Shepard in row 2, Kaufman and Esch in row 3, Darren Pittman and Kenny Jacobs in row 4, McCarl and Hotnet rounding out our dash field. Take it away, Johnny.
6 laps of dash action ready to roll. Winner of this one will start on the pole of the feature event, a drag race between Michael Carber and Jason Solwald into turn number 1.
Good run by Carber, 18 years old, just to get into the dash tonight. Tough competition, as we said earlier, 63 cars here.
Michael Carber graduated from high school back in June. 2 feature wins in 410 competition this season on the tough Central Pennsylvania circuit. 1 at the Trailway Speedway, 1 at Susquehanna Raceway Park. Now Carver and Jeff Shepard going at it for second. Shepard actually by Carver there into turn number 1. Carver trying to come back at him. We watch the hammer. Doug Esch going at it with Joey Saldana as they race for 4th. Saldana down low, Esch on the cushion. Carver has gotten the 2nd spot back from Jeff Shepard.
The racetrack in great shape. You can see the cars running the top, running the middle, and the bottom of the racetrack. The middle a little bit slick, but boy, see Sowald out front there. He can run anywhere he wants to right now.
Jason Solwald works the cushion out of turn number 4. Michael Carver running in the 2nd spot. Jeff Shepard in 3rd. Right now, Doug Esch runs in 4th and Joey Saldana 5th. Esch gaining ground on Jeff Shepard now using the low line through 1 and 2 in that Kiner trucking number 30.
Well, last couple times we've been here, Doug Esch has put on a show. Crew chief Dennis Kohler working on this car. Seems like Esch has come out of nowhere this year. I mean, you've heard of him in the Pennsylvania area for years, but what a season he is having.
Esch, the leading feature winner this year at Williams Grove with 5 weekly checkered flags. Meanwhile, Jason Solwald continued to show the way looking for the pole position. Esch starting to pull away a little bit from Jeff Shepard. Doug Esch off the cushion in turn number 4 down the long front straightaway. You can see the separation between himself and Carver. There's Jason Solwald out in front working down the back straightaway. Solwald into 3 and 4. He's a preliminary feature winner at the Silver Dollar Speedway during the Gold Cup Race of Champions, and now he'll start on the pole in the prelim of the National Open.
Okay, Johnny, his 3rd pole of the season, Jason Solwald. He takes the checkered flag at our dash with Carver, Esch, Shepard, Pittman, Saldana, Hotnet, Kaufman, McCarl, and Jacobs. The running order in that first 5 rows of the A-main tonight.
Got a really good car tonight. Citywide insulation, Pro Shocks, winter rear ends, Hoosier tires, and that good Capetta engine in there, you know, is running real good tonight. You know, the track's getting pretty racy right now. You know, I think we're going to have, you know, a top and bottom and, you know, a lot of good cars here tonight. So we'll see what happens.
Some teams have experienced overheating problems recently. What are they doing to deal with it? Our Brad Doty clues us in on tonight's Tech Tip, brought to you by B&W Custom Truck Beds.
In a previous tech tip, we showed you the cooling system of a sprint car, which is basically the radiator and the water pump. We showed you where the radiator cap went in top of the radiator. Well, here's a good look at it. This thing has a seal on it. It's spring-loaded. This thing's more or less just a pop-off valve to release some pressure, kind of like a pressure cooker. Most passenger cars, it's about 10 to 15-pound radiator cap. Sprint cars use 30 to 35-pound cap. Now, for years, this has worked well because the cars never really got hot enough to bypass this 35-pound cap. But this year, some teams are having some trouble with overheating, and they blame it on 2 things. They're squeezing a lot more horsepower out of these engines, and they're turning a lot of RPMs. Both of those create heat. So when this cap would open up and release the fluid, the steam, the water out of the radiator, generally it was going out on the racetrack, and that compounded the problem because as the thing's overheating, it loses water. It gets even hotter because now it's low on water. Some teams have rectified that by going to a catch can, as we see here on Darren Pittman's car. If it spews any water out, it goes into that catch can. Now, as the car cools down, say on a caution flag, or when they come back to the pit area, that creates a vacuum in the system. It pulls that fluid back into the radiator where it should be, not out on the racetrack. So again, that's what some of the guys are doing to correct that overheating problem.
We've already mentioned the veteran talent that has to go to the last chance qualifiers. It's coming up next when we come back to Williams Grove Speedway. Preliminary feature. Let's take a look at the grid sheet for the B-main. It's Bruce and Schaefer on the front row. Coming on Henderson, Smith and Lasowski, Crimes and Keel, Carlson and Monteith, Hester and Delansky, Hottenshield and Leppo, Feldley and Barger rounding out the field. Take it away, Johnny.
Tony Bruce on the inside, Todd Schaefer on the outside of the front row as the B-main goes green. Look at Danny Lasowski make a big move from the 6th starting spot. He's already up to 3rd as they enter turn number 1.
And he did it right through the middle of the racetrack. A couple cars opened the door up. He went right up in between them and moved into 3rd spot.
What a tough B-main field. Only the top 4 finishers will move on to the feature event. It's Tony Bruce leading it with Danny Lasowski running in the 2nd spot. Bruce beginning to pull away now down the front stretch. Trouble between turns 3 and 4. Brian Monteith in the auto locator, car number 21B, sitting sideways. B-main restart with 2 laps complete, 10 laps to go. Tony Bruce leading Danny Lasowski, Todd Schaefer, and Justin Henderson right now in that 4th and final transfer position.
Johnny, you mentioned some fast cars in this B-main with, again, 63 cars here, but we have some really fast qualifiers that just didn't quite transfer out of the heat race in this B-main. Of course, Tony Bruce up front, finished 5th and 1 spot out. The 88 car of Schaefer got upside down. Of course, Danny Lasowski blew an engine. Really, really good cars and tough competition.
Craig Delansky from the 12th starting spot. Now Delansky to the outside of Chad Kavanaugh. They are racing for the 6th position give it to the crowd pleaser out of turn number 2.
Well, in the open of the show, I interviewed Craig Delansky, and we talked about how tough it is here because of the PA posse and the uniqueness of this racetrack. Finds himself, you know, this B main had trouble in the heat race. He may not make the field.
Tony Bruce being stalked now by Danny Lasowski. Lasowski looking to recover from the engine problems in his heat race. Running second in the B main, there is Craig Delansky, who started 12th, currently 1 spot out of a transfer position. That last transfer spot now being held by Alan Crimes.
Well, this place is kind of known for being hard on engines because of the long straightaways, Johnny. They turn very, very high RPMs, but then coming out of turn 4, they really lug the engine or bog the engine down. So this place is known to really be tough on these engines.
Danny Lasowski, in a bid to take the lead from Tony Bruce Jr., grabs the top spot, smoke out of the back of the car again, and for the second time this evening, Danny Lasowski with engine trouble.
Just as he took the lead, look at that, he's going to the port. He knows he's done. He went right back to the pit area.
We stay green as Lasowski out of the competition. Tony Bruce Jr. now in the lead. Watching Jack Hodenshield come from the 13th starting spot. Gets by Chad Kavanaugh. Hodenshield, the wild child on the move. And now Craig Delansky all over Alan Crimes with that final transfer spot.
Boy, this is when the driver really gets his elbows up. Not that Delansky wasn't running hard now, but he knows that there's 1 spot out.
Alan Crimes really spun the wheels in the slick stuff in turn 4, and now they get together at the exit of the corner.
And look what it did. Delansky had to get on the brake pedal, lost a lot of ground, but yeah, you're right, Crimes stuck in the middle of the racetrack. It looked like Delansky had an opening on the outside. That door closed, and if he didn't get in the back of him, he was really close.
Crimes back on the bottom. Now Delansky gets a good run on the cushion, is going to drive by him on the outside of turn number 4. Delansky up to the transfer spot.
It looks like Crimes' car is really getting loose. You can see the car sideways there. He's having trouble, a lot of wheel spin, but Delansky's car is getting faster.
Also very fast in his Williams Grove debut, Tony Bruce Jr. leading this one. Running in the second spot, it's Todd Schaefer with Justin Henderson third and Craig Delansky in that final transfer position. Just a handful of laps left in the B main.
The racetrack is slowing down. You can see Bruce running around the bottom, trying to get all that moisture slick through the middle, but that's the way these guys like this, the racetrack, to be slick right through the middle. A really nice cushion up here, not a heavy berm, just some moisture up there that they can run on.
Craig Delansky now reeling in Justin Henderson just a bit, and now the wild child, Jack Hodenshield, is up to 5th, just 1 spot out of a transfer.
And at this point, Hodenshield's hoping for a caution flag to bunch him back up. Maybe he could make something happen as he goes into turn 1, because Delansky, these cars are strung out in front of him. I think he may be running out of time without a caution.
Tony Bruce Jr. down the front straightaway with the lead. Hodenshield trying to catch up with Delansky for the transfer spot. Bruce working the final circuit down the back straightaway.
And that time he went to the top of the cushion. He's moving around on the racetrack trying to figure out where this car likes it, maybe what he can do to make it faster.
Tony Bruce Jr. out of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. Bruce will get the win. Hodenshield trying to catch up with Delansky, but runs out of time. Delansky in the final transfer spot.
Checking out the Optima Batteries results page, Tony Bruce Jr., Todd Schaefer, Justin Henderson, and Craig Delansky catching the last 4 spots in tonight's A main. 3 notables didn't make the main event: Hodenshield, Lasowski, and Kavanaugh.
Lasowski there, he was battling with us, and he probably would have ran away from me, but luckily he had some problems for me, so I don't know. This place is real fast and real tricky, and we're just kind of trying to get the feel of it, and maybe we'll go forward in the A.
We'll be right back with 25 laps of preliminary feature action from Williams Grove after these words. The World of Outlaws on the Outdoor Channel is being brought to you by Optima Battery. The track ready for 25 laps. On the pole is Citywide Insulation's Jason Solwald. Next to him, a recent high school graduate who is opening some eyes while racing sprint cars, Michael Carver. In row 2 from the Pennsylvania posse, Doug Esch, and a driver substituting for Brooke Tatnall, Jeff Shepard. Row 3, Darren Pittman and Joey Saldana. Row 4 finds Greg Hodnett and Keith Kaufman. On the inside of row 5 from the mean 15, Terry McCarl. Next to McCarl is tonight's top qualifier, Kenny Jacobs. Tony Bruce Jr. and Todd Schaefer will start from row 6. From the mean 15 in row 7, Justin Henderson. Next to the Outlaws rookie is young Lucas Wolf. Row 8 on the grid has Paul McMahon, and from the mean 15, Dion Hindi. Then from the mean 15, it's Becca Anderson. Next to Becca in row 9 is Nikki Young. Starting in 19th from the mean 15, it's Craig Delansky. Next to the Outlaws' number 2 driver in the standings is the Pennsylvania Posse's Lance DeWeese. In row 11, the current points leader for the yet-to-be-determined Williams Grove Track Championship, Fast Freddie Raymer. Next to Raymer, a mean 15er who has won on this track 5 times, 3 of those National Open Championships, Donnie Schatz. And then it's Eardley and Cole. And with track provisionals, Kreitz and Monteith. Time to go to the booth on the race call with Johnny Gibson and Brad Doty. Take it away, guys.
Green flag waving on this one. Carver gets the jump. Solwald settles into the second spot. They race into turn number 1. Caution flag will come back out on the Speedway, however. The field begins to slow. No start the call from the World of Outlaws officials. It's going to be Joey Saldana caught for the jump. Started inside of row number 3, make that outside of row number 3. He'll be set back to the outside of row 4. And crew chief Willie Kane not happy about it at all, giving an earful to World of Outlaws Sprint Series director Carlton Reimers.
With a break in the action, you're watching a World of Outlaws from Williams Grove Speedway in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Right now, Solwald on the inside, but it's Michael Carver from the outside of the front row getting the jump in the True Line Contractors car number 69.
They'll give it to the engine guy on that race car because that thing didn't stutter, a lot of horsepower. He took off and pulled away.
Michael Carver leading it. Jason Solwald running in the second spot. In third is Jeff Shepard with the hammer. Doug Esch in fourth. And running fifth, Darren Pittman. Now Esch to the inside of Shepard. Doug Esch taking over third.
I thought Esch was going to make contact with the outside wall, and he dove to the bottom, and you see there, it gets by Shepard.
Shepard now has his hands full with Darren Pittman in the Titan Garage is 21. Nobody up to challenge Michael Carver right now. Out of turn number 4, beginning to pull away. He's already got a half a straightaway on the field.
And look at the wing angle there. They've raised the wing up on that car, trying to get more forward bite. Knew the track's going to slick off. He still has it forward, but it's a lot of angle in that wing.
Boy, watching him roll off the bottom of turn number 2 and getting a good bite there. Reminds you of another 69 car we've seen so successful here at Williams Grove Speedway. Don Kreitz Jr., always good on the bottom. He's in this race as well, took the Williams Grove Speedway Provisional, as did Ryan Monteith.
Yeah, Kreitz struggled early, had ignition problems in hot laps and qualifying, didn't get a good run, so yeah, he did take Provisional to get in, but as you said, he's usually fast around the bottom. This 69 car, he's fast anywhere it looks like right now.
Joey Saldana, after being penalized early, back up to the 6th spot, trying to track down Darren Pittman.
That was a good shot of 3 and 4. You can see how tight and narrow that bottom groove is in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, a lot wider, big sweeping corner.
Kenny Jacobs, the night's fastest qualifier in the JEI Performance car number 8J, trying to catch up with Keith Kaufman. Kaufman's looked good all night long. Jacobs to the high side, Kaufman down low. They battle for the 9th spot.
Yeah, Keith Kaufman and Kenny Jacobs are really good friends off the racetrack, but right now they're not thinking about it. Jacobs on the outside.
Kenny Jacobs makes the move, puts the 8J up into the 9th spot. Michael Carver down the front straightaway, continuing to increase the lead, and lap traffic coming into play. We talked about Don Kreitz earlier. That'll be the first car that Carver will encounter in his battle with lap traffic.
Yeah, how ironic, the 69 going after the other one as he goes into turn 3.
Another shot at Kenny Jacobs. Jacobs 4 wheels over the cushion in turn number 2 that time. Meanwhile, Doug Esch reeling in the R19 of Jason Solwald. We've got a battle for the runner-up position shaping up.
Now there's another car. Look at Esch's car, another Pennsylvania car, but look at the wing angle. Really stood up compared to Jason Solwald's. Now we see the 69 going after Kreitz.
Carver to the cushion in 3 and 4. Battle for second. Heats up once again. Esch trying the slide job there in turn number 4.
A little bit early there. You can see the car slide up across the racetrack. Solwald drives back away from him.
Jason Solwald goes back to the cushion. Doug Esch stays down on the low side in 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway under the famous bridge here at Williams Grove.
Not very many dirt racetracks with a bridge across it, and that's about halfway down the back straightaway. Gives you kind of a reference for how long these straightaways really are.
Leader continuing to work lap traffic, gets by Becca Anderson. Now 2 cars between Michael Carver and Jason Solwald.
Carver, as you said earlier, 18 years old, not a lot of experience, getting through lap cars pretty cleanly right now, moving around on the racetrack. Solwald, though, getting a little heat from Esch.
Solwald goes by Kreitz on the outside. Now sets his sights on Becca Anderson as Carver has a bit of a struggle with Dion Hindy right in front of him out of turn 2. Doug Esch trying to catch up with Jason Solwald. Goes to the cushion in 3 and 4. There is your race leader, Michael Carver, and you can see Jason Solwald's actually gaining some ground on him down the front straightaway. The traffic has erased what was nearly a 3.5 second lead.
And Carver in the 69 did get by Dion Hindy there, see if he can pull back away from Solwald, but as you just said, it let Solwald, oh, right there, really closing in now.
Jason Solwald on the back bumper of the True Line Contractor 69. Battle for the lead shaping up in the traffic here at the Williams Grove Speedway as we near the halfway point.
Well, Johnny, we talk about it all the time that the lead car, a little disadvantage out front. You don't know for sure where to run, and we see Jason Solwald dive to the inside.
Solwald to the inside, a bit for the lead, sideways in front of the leader. The front end comes off the ground. Oh, what a close call for Jason Solwald. I don't know how he saved it, but the caution flag is actually waving. Looked like Brian Monteith was slowing in turn number 4.
I don't think I've ever seen a sprint car that out of shape and the driver save it as Jason Solwald just did.
When the car gets that sideways, the driver gets on throttle, the car just loops around, but that one really just picked the front end up.
Fortunately, he got enough bite. As you said, it didn't do a 360. It raised the front end up. He slowly got out of the throttle, set the car back down, and found himself still in second position.
With a break in the action, you're watching the World of Outlaws from Williams Grove Speedway in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Preliminary feature, Michael Carber leading it, Jason Solwald in second, Doug Esch in third, and Jeff Shepard running in the 4th spot.
Boy, and Carber really bringing him around slow for the restart.
Carber on the throttle. We go back to green. Solwald to the inside. Contact with Michael Carber into turn number 1, and Solwald will take the lead.
Well, I think that slow restart hurt Carber. He didn't know really, should have picked up the pace a little early, but yeah, he left the door open enough, and Solwald gets in and does make contact.
Jason Solwald now out in front, looking for his second preliminary feature win of the season in World of Outlaws competition. Carber not giving up, however. Carber back down to the low side, pulls even with Solwald, but Jason has the momentum out of turn 2.
I would have figured on that restart, maybe Carber's crew would have been giving him signals to start running the top of the racetrack in 1 and 2, because it looked like he'd been running the bottom. That's where Solwald was catching, but I think, again, that restart a little bit too slow, and as he went to the bottom, left the door just enough there that Solwald went to the inside.
Darren Pittman running in the 5th spot right now. The lap car of Becca Anderson between himself and 4th place running Jeff Shepard. They'll roll down the backstretch. Now we've got a race for second heating up. Doug Esch on the cushion. Michael Carber down low. Esch going to try to drive around him out of turn number 4.
Well, Carber went in on the bottom, slid up across the middle of the racetrack, and yeah, boy, that was close.
Oh, what a slide job, and Carber able to turn back underneath Esch. Doug Esch, really not much of a slide job at all, just drove straight into the corner and up in front of the front end of the 69.
Well, again, I thought he must have thought Carber's going to give him a little more room, and he didn't. He had to drive the car straight and up to the cushion, lost enough momentum that Carber got back to the inside. But now Esch back around him.
Doug Esch with a strong move on the cushion in 3 and 4 to take the second spot from Michael Carber. Meanwhile, Jason Solwald continues to show the way. And again, laps winding down here in this main event, 25 laps the distance this evening. See Solwald in the lead with Doug Esch running in the 2nd spot, Michael Carber in 3rd, and right now Jeff Shepard holds the 4th spot. And again, a bit of a format change here this weekend, Brad. The top 4 drivers, instead of being locked into the top 4 spots of the dash tomorrow night, will be considered the top 4 qualifiers from time trials. They'll have to transfer from their heat race or from the B main if they want to compete for that $50,000 top prize in the Cleveland Brothers National Open.
Well, generally, as you said, the top 4 don't have to do anything but run a dash for tomorrow night. In this case, they don't have to qualify, but they do still have to run a heat race.
Jeff Shepard now reeling in Michael Carber. Shepard to the inside, going to make the slide job work out of turn number 4.
And it's got to be frustrating for Michael Carber. Young Michael Carber, talking about 18 years old, not a lot of experience. I think that's showing right now. He's missed the lines on the racetrack, and he had to be really frustrated when Solwald got into him, going into him a little bit, but the kid's done a good job so far.
Look at Doug Esch reel in the race leader, Jason Solwald, down the front straightaway. Now Darren Pittman and Michael Carber going at it. Pittman moves around Carber to take the 4th spot.
Oh boy, and that's not good, because again, the Carber now will have to qualify in time trial tomorrow night, and that could really be, depending on the racetrack, could be really put him behind the 8 ball.
Doug Esch reeling in Jason Solwald. We've got a battle for the lead with just a few laps left here in the A feature. Watching Jeff Shepard, who currently rides in the 3rd spot, but now back to the race for the lead. Doug Esch, Jason Solwald into traffic now into 3 and 4.
Boy, and Esch, well, both of them using the cushion, but Esch has really seemed like he's been running a little bit higher getting into turn 3 than anybody throughout this main event.
Doug Esch, Jason Solwald, separated by a car length and a half. Both of them work the cushion through 1 and 2. Gaining ground on Lee Seichel, number 11 of Mike Eardley. That'll be the first slower car that they encounter when they get back into traffic.
It looks like both of these cars equally fast right now, running around the top of the racetrack. It's going to take a little bit of a mistake by either one of them to either, oh boy, Esch to the inside. Again, tried that slide job way too early, and you can see how Solwald pulled back away from him.
Solwald into 3 and 4. He'll look for the white flag this time by. There will be a half a mile left, and Solwald, a little bobble, bangs the cushion hard in turn number 4.
You can bet he saw Esch down underneath of him there. He's got his elbows up, running a little bit hard right now, and about jumped the cushion in 3 and 4.
Jason Solwald out of turn 2, down the back straightaway for the final time. Works to the outside of turns 3 and 4, and he'll look at a checkered flag. He was a preliminary feature winner with the World of Outlaws earlier this year at Chico, and now gets one on the opening night of the Cleveland Brothers National Open at Williams Grove.
Jason Sowald wins his second Outlaws preliminary feature since the Knoxville Nationals. We'll take a look at the official Optima Batteries results page, hear from the top contenders, and check out all the important championship points in just a moment. The World of Outlaws on the Outdoor Channel is being brought to you by Optima Batteries, B&W Custom Truck Beds, Advance Auto Parts, Eckert Pharmacies, and by PartyPoker.com. The Pacific Northwest wins his second preliminary feature in the last 5 races. On the Optima Batteries results page, it's Doug Esch holding up the Pennsylvania Posse banner. Jeff Shepard, who hasn't been on a race car for a couple of weeks, takes 3rd place honors. The top 4 from tonight's preliminary feature are locked into tomorrow night's heat races, avoiding the qualifying phase. Darren Pittman gets that coveted 4th place finish. Michael Keimer, who led the first 12 laps, rounds out the top 5. Craig Delansky is unable to take advantage of Donnie Schatz's troubles in a big way, finishing 13th, while Donnie salvages 15th place points.
The Renfro brothers, Troy's the crew chief, brother Todd's a past mechanic of mine back in the 140 days when I was 16, got my first win with him. So they're here tonight. They haven't lost their touch, and it's just a lot of fun racing at home with your family and friends here to watch you and going fast.
You know, with the field of cars that was here, 60-some cars, you know, to come out of here second, I surely ain't upset about it. You know, it'd have been nice to win, but you ain't going to win them both, so maybe we'll take tomorrow night.
You know, we've always ran well here at Williams Grove, and, you know, we got our first one there at Chico, you know, a couple weeks ago, and it's been a good month. You know, we didn't finish quite well enough. There, actually, we didn't finish at all. So, you know, hopefully we can get, you know, these big shows and, you know, finish pretty well tomorrow night and hopefully take that 50,000.
With all his troubles tonight, Donnie Schatz doesn't lose that many points. He still has a 316-point lead in the standings. Saldana gaining a few points at Delansky in second. There's still only a 34-point difference between second and third. Pittman and the Idle Tapno complete the top 5. Then it's Hot and Shield, Kavanaugh, Campbell, Henderson, and McCarl rounding out the top 10. Chad Kavanaugh continues to hold the dominating lead for the Kevin Gobrick Rookie of the Year, presented by Maxim Racing and Butler Build Honors. But tonight's Rookie of the Race honors goes to Justin Henderson and helps him to within 27 points of Jeremy Campbell. Henderson is serious about climbing the ladder before the season ends. This is Art Eckler for Johnny Gibson and Brad Doty, thanking you for being with us and hoping you can join us next week at this time on the Outdoor Channel when we bring you the run for the $50,000 top prize at the National Open from right here at Williams Grove Speedway. Until then, so long, everybody.